Welcome back to Cryptos R Us. I'm George. We're all George. So today I want to talk about catastrophe and why we Bitcoin holders need to prepare for it, because there is something big that's happening in a couple of weeks. It's coming. So let's talk about what it is and how to prepare for it. And I'm back. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are having a good weekend. I just came back from Miami and we'll share a little bit about that. I've lost my voice a little bit, but nevertheless, the show must go on. And of course, we got to talk about what the Republicans did last week. Basically rejected a proposal, basically, and came up with a new proposal. And now you got President Biden in the middle. Basically, he doesn't know what to do, right? Like, what are you going to do? We got less than 2 weeks left, and there is no compromise yet. Republicans want some deep cuts, but Democrats do not. So, I mean, they do, but the numbers are just not aligning. So basically what's happening right now is there's stalemate. There always seems to be a stalemate until the very last second, and then there's some kind of agreement, and then Biden signs it in, right? And I'm talking about the debt ceiling, in case you're still confused what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a debt ceiling, the U.S. debt ceiling. If we do not raise the debt ceiling, the U.S. will default for the first time in its history. It'll be absolutely cluster F. It'll be a catastrophe, and everyone is saying we can't let this happen. From Fed Chair Powell to saying if this happens, there's no tools in my disposal that I can deploy to fix this. Janet Yellen, of course, the Treasury Secretary, also said this. This will be really bad. Really bad. We won't be able to pay Social Security, Medicare. We can't pay back our debts. Right? It's just everyone is saying this is the worst case scenario for the U.S. ever in its history if we default and we don't come to a compromise on this debt ceiling. And that's the bottom line, right? Like what's if we're unable to print more money and pay what's owed, our credit rating will drop and the bonds will be, the market will be dumping, and it's just bad. It's just bad. But this is the reason why. This is the reason why we have Bitcoin, right? Biden had an interview saying that, I'm not going to agree to a deal that protects wealthy tax cheats and crypto traders while putting food assistance at risk. It's funny because crypto trading or crypto laws, I guess, was proposed. I don't even know what they talked about, but he specifically pointed out crypto traders as if crypto traders are the ones that are going to benefit the most from the compromise. I don't even know where that came from. But anyways, what about the trillions of dollars that we've printed? And what about the trillions more that need to be printed even after agreement is made? Because that's the only way we could pay back our debts, by printing more money, because we actually don't have any. Think about that. How nice it is to have an unlimited money printer just sitting there, right? But at least we have some laws to kind of try to curb that, right? To try to get people to not use it and turn on all the time. That's a debt ceiling. But if we just keep raising the debt ceiling forever, I mean, then what's the point, right? What's the point even having this law and this just remove it altogether, and then you know what's going to happen? The U.S. dollar is going to inflate and hyperinflate to nothing, like what we see in Argentina and other places. Turkey, that just suffers from hyperinflation, mismanagement of money, overprinting of money. That's what the U.S. is going to come down to if we continue down this path. So basically, bottom line is, we don't have a lot of time left. We don't. But moving on, this week, we got more economic data, right? This relates to Powell and his upcoming rate hike or non-rate hike, hopefully, in June, right? The economic numbers are softening. The weekly earnings, the quarterly earnings from the companies, major retailers, major companies out there, some mix. Some, okay, still did okay. Some doing really bad, really, really bad. So it's clear that the U.S. economy is slowing down, right? And the numbers show it. But what is Powell going to do? Because now there's a notion that maybe he's going to still increase the rate, the fund Fed rate, despite everything that's going on, right? That would be absolutely horrible. Even worse than no, it's not worse than a debt ceiling, defaulting on debt. No, it's not worse than that, but it's still pretty bad. All these things, I can only laugh because I don't know what else to say. Because all these things are bad, right? They're all leading to catastrophe. And that is why, again, Bitcoin was created because Satoshi said enough is enough. And this was after 2008, which was already bad, but we're in a time where it's like 10 times higher than 2008. Everything's 10 times higher, it seems like. Prices of goods, services, inflation, national debt, like everything went up like 10x within the last decade or so. It's crazy. It's crazy, right? But that's why. That's why we have Bitcoin. That's why Robert Kiyosaki thinks that, screw soft landing, hard landing. What about crash landing? Because he and others, Ray Dalio, have also said this, the death of the dollar. A lot of these really wealthy individuals that have made a lot of money over the years, they have come out and said, you know what, I don't like where we're heading. I don't like what's happening, and I think bad things are going to happen. That's why these guys are now turning to Bitcoin. Even Ray Dalio, he was not a Bitcoiner. He was just a gold guy. Now he's even recognizing Bitcoin has its place, and so have many others. All right, you got Tim Draper, of course, but you got Paul Tudor Jones, Bill Miller, all these guys. They're all turning to Bitcoin because they're like, you know what? Bad things are going to happen to money, to the U.S. That's why you got to load up on something that isn't controlled by them, like Bitcoin, right? So that's how you prepare, guys. Bitcoin holders, you prepare by continuing to DCA and loading up as much as you can before one of these major catastrophic events happen. And when it does, short term, it's going to be bad for everything, but long term, it's just going to drive more and more people to Bitcoin. It's really that simple. Now, meantime, as for Bitcoin, since last week to this week, really haven't moved. We're still right around that 27,000 mark, right? A little bit lower right now, but still basically going sideways. And again, when you focus on shorter time frames, it doesn't look good. But when you focus on longer time frames, you realize, it's still looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. And this is going all the way back to 2013 till now. Basically, we're at an extremely oversold level. Even now, even after recovering from bottom, still very, 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 very low. You look at the previous bottoms in 2015, 2019, 2020, whatever, we haven't been this low for this extended for a long, forever. It has never happened, right? So still plenty of time to load up and stock up. And this is interesting, projecting what happened from 2015 all the way up to 2018, right? And you look at 2022 going all the way up to 2025. Hey, we're following the same pattern. Looks pretty good. We're only in phase 2 because we started a new cycle. We haven't come anywhere close to the end or the peak, right? That's what we can expect in 2025 and second half 2024. But if you're looking at it, we're right on track. Although it's still early, though. It is still early. But a couple of good news. Number one is there's a high frequency talks about Bitcoin, right? And also a little negativity around altcoins. A lot of people are very negative about altcoins right now. I can see why altcoins are losing strength to Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is going up, right? But according to sentiment, when this happens, generally a positive sign. When people are talking about Bitcoin, getting bearish on altcoins, that's usually good, okay? That usually means something big is happening. And also, you combine all of that with the fact that the reserves of both Bitcoin and Ethereum they're so low on exchanges. Bitcoin is back to the same level as December 2017, but Ethereum, it goes all the way back to Genesis Day when it debuted back in 2015. So the reserves are so low, so low, and it's going to go lower. Both of these are going to go lower. As demand keeps going up, people will be buying, getting smarter about it, taking them off the exchanges, right? Supply and demand, this is what you want to see. More and more people are turning to Bitcoin and crypto because they know the potential of Web3 or self-custody or just getting away from shenanigans of their country, right? We're seeing it happen right before our eyes. It's still early, right? But a lot more coming. A lot more coming. What else is going on? Well, as for Ethereum, kind of like Bitcoin, the metrics are just fantastic. Number of ETH deposited just continues to fly up now. No one is worried about not able to take out their ETH. That's why a lot of people are depositing. This is native staking. I'm not even counting like liquid staking or liquidity providers. This is just within Ethereum itself. It was a very low percentage, like 15%, but imagine it goes up to like 70% like some of these other chains. Fantastic. And then burning is still happening a lot. There's so much volume, right? Because of meme coins right now. There's just so much being burned. Ethereum is more deflationary than Bitcoin at this point. I mean, think about that. It's quite amazing. But you know how recently there's been a lot of excitement about BRC20 and meme coins and NFTs on Bitcoin. You know, that's continuing on not only for Bitcoin, right? But also now it's moving to Dogecoin and Litecoin. Imagine having meme coins on top of Dogecoin's network. How crazy would that be? Kind of like Shibarium. I'm surprised I don't hear more about meme coins coming up on Shibarium yet. Like, well, what's the deal with that? It seems like a perfect merge, but you don't see it. But soon you'll have it on Dogecoin and Litecoin. Right? And then, recently there's that controversy about Ledger. Cardano's still doing pretty well. Cardano's, Charles Hoskinson said, hey, social contracts shouldn't be broken. If you're a hardware wallet maker, you should not go against what you said, which is basically, these are cold wallets. There should be no backdoor to them, right? And, people like to feel safe with their ledgers. They don't like to feel like, oh, you upgrade the firmware. Now there's like a backdoor that they can access and pull out your private key, right? That should not be the case. They're alienating themselves, and that's no good. No good at all. And then finally, I just came back from Bitcoin 2023. Had loads of fun, way more fun this year than last year, although the attendees, a lot less. The first day was horrible, but I think it was an industry day. Second day, much better, but still, attendees down more than half versus last year, which is interesting because 2022 was not a good year, right? But it was right before everything collapsed, so there were still a lot of people this year. Actually, way less than last year, but I met a lot of good people. You guys saw the XRP video I put out yesterday, right? Surprisingly, a lot more people were I thought everyone would just be clowning XRP, but there were some that actually liked it, and I showed you guys that. So quite a surprise, but met a lot of people, talked to a lot of people, made a lot of connections, and partied a bit too much. But yeah, I'm formulating a whole video, my whole experience video, like a vlog video for you guys. Hopefully I could get it done by tonight, but there's like hundreds of clips, and it's gonna be wild. But I met all the guys too. I met with Rand and Sheldon and Miles and there was a Kyle and Johnny from the Banter, the Banter guys. Met with Ben Cowan. Met with Ben and his team. He has a ton of team. I met all the guys, all the big guys, and the smaller channels too. Met a lot of influencers. We had a good old time, so it'll be a good video. All right, let's do some Q&A. And Token says, how tall are you? Just watch footage from Miami. You look much taller than I expected. I don't know why people think I'm short. This happens with my car channel too. I'm 5'10". I'm not 6 feet, but I'm not short. I'm 5'10". There's a lot of people that think, oh, you're Asian, you can't be tall or something. I'm not even tall, but yeah, I'm 5'10". I'm not short. All right, let's do some Q&A. Did I see Leia? Yeah, I met her. We were at a joint party together, and I talked to her a little bit. Barack says, most of us assume how hardware wallet works. The fact is, every company could pull the seed phrase from our wallet. We need to trust a company that would not FTX us. I have no trust. Have you been worried? Barack, that's not true at all. There's a lot of wallets that they just can't pull seed phrase from. No, that's not. I don't think you're right about that. Car channels drivers only. I just actually put out a great video about Toyota Corolla GR. Love that car. I might actually just get, if I can get my hands on one without overpaying, I might get that car as a summer car. It's a good one. I'm 5'10", 3 and a 4. Can I say 5'11"? Just wear some platform shoes and say you're 6 feet tall. Can you comment on Zen Crypto? Someone asked earlier. I can't, Ben. Not familiar with it. Why do Sky? Why does Biden always have a clueless face? I think people just like to put pictures of him like that because it looks funny. That's why I used it. But yeah, he's in a conundrum right now. Sid Michael, big super chat. Thank you for that, man. Man, thank you. Did I secure a Michael Saylor interview? I did not. I'm still trying to make inroads with some of these big guys. I know people that know him, right? But I think the hardest person to get an interview with is CZ. He is like a national, global treasure. Like no one seems to have a direct connection with him, and the people that do say he doesn't do interviews unless like you're really close to him. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to get that. But some of these interviews I love to do and try to get more people into spaces too. Do you think the U.S. default? My gut is no. My gut is like because June 1st is default day. So basically May 31st or May 31st, Congress will meet at like 4 a.m. or that'll be too late. Like 11:55 p.m. They'll say, oh yeah, we've come to agreement because no one wants this to happen. It will be bad. Even all Bitcoiners are rooting for, yeah, let's have the U.S. default and have the USD crash. Short term, that's going to be bad. It's going to collapse everything, okay? Bitcoin and crypto is not big enough to withstand that. Everything will crash. Just like May 2020, when we had that COVID crash, everything crashed. It's going to be like that. Long term, it's going to be fantastic because it's going to prove Bitcoin's point. You can't trust anyone, right? You can't trust central banks. You can't trust government. It's going to prove that. But short term, it'll be absolutely disastrous for everyone. And I think we're not going to default, but who knows? There's a first time for everything. Maybe we do, and it'll be really bad. What were the biggest announcements at BTC conference? Actually, I did not. There was one that I sat in, which is kind of interesting, talking about Bitcoin miners and MEV. Basically, how the miners. They were basically the three guys on stage were talking about how Bitcoin developers need to figure out how to solve this problem where if you have a lot of NFT transaction or meme coin transactions that are more valuable than the rest of the transactions, how do you figure out that the miners won't be selective and only process a transaction that makes them more money, right? So that was an interesting conversation. Everything else was more like macro based and Strike, announcing their new features. I mean, it was as expected. I didn't hear anything like super crazy. Will you do Twitter Spaces? Subscribe so subscribers can interact with you. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, you have to pay to talk to me. No, I mean, if you meet me at the conference or wherever, or it's fine, or a live chat. Was the conference worth going to? Yeah, I would say so. I mean, not for paying $1,000 for a ticket, no. But if you were able to grab a ticket early on, I mean, I'll be somewhat okay. But honestly, I met a lot of people there that that are non-vendors, that just regular people, and they just want to learn. Hopefully they did, but still pissing me off that all these conferences charge so much for tickets. Really prohibits normal people from attending. So I'd love to still do my own conference next year, um, and make it very, very affordable. Have you been to El Salvador? No, I have not. No, I have not. David, did I meet you, David? David Jacob, great meeting at the party. Enjoyed a few double 14, 1942. Too bad, David. I was kind of complaining about Hourglass, how there was no open bar. But if you stayed until the end, there was like 2 hours of open bar at the end, and they were handing out like $1,500 like bottles of tequila shots and stuff like that. But I'm glad you were able to make it. I don't know if we met. Maybe we did. I guess. Sorry, it was a blur. That party was wild, but the whole night I was introducing projects to other projects. Because that's what I'm all about these days, trying to help make connections, and I spent like 4 hours that night just kind of talking to people and seeing what they need and helping make those connections. But I'm glad you came. And you sent that super chat twice. Oh, it's good to be drinking some high quality protein rather than alcohol. Like, oh God, I had so much. Like when you party too much and you drink so much, it gets to a point where you like dread drinking. That's that's where I am right now. The Himalayan Yeti says, "I'm a 6'2" handsome Asian man." If you're talking about height, why do you have to add handsome in there? And that's subjective. Anyways, 95% of me in New York are shorter than me. Well, you got gifted with nice genes, or your parents are tall. Um, yeah, let's leave this up. This is a good one. Eduardo, I'm thinking about getting a treasure and testing out with it. I'm assuming it works the same way. I've always been a ledger guy, and I still think they'll go backtrack. And what they were doing was for the X, supposedly the S Plus was going to get it, but only if you upgrade the firmware. I don't know what the hell's going on. Hopefully they just solve it so we don't have to move away from Ledger. But I was thinking about Trezor is the second one. But like these days I mix up my wallets. I use browser wallets. Um, I use mobile wallets, hardware wallets. I have some in exchanges. It's all over the place. Jack the man, yeah, let's not talk about that. um, what stays in Miami? What happens in Miami stays in Miami? Is that a thing? Um, I'm activating my treasure with the same private keys I use for Nano X. Never go use Nano X. I still have my S. Yeah, I still use S. Yeah, if you guys want to meet someone tall, well, Altcoin Daily Bros, I actually had a good conversation with them too. I had a party with them in the Maxim party. They're tall. They're like 6'2" or something. But if you really want to meet someone tall, you guys got to meet Jason of Crypto Crow. He's a legit 7 feet. Um, and when I'm talking to him, I'm like this. I get a neck ache every time I have to, look up to talk to him. And it's funny because I met his wife a couple times. She's like 5 feet. There's literally like 2 feet difference between the two. It's wild. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. Tomorrow will be an interesting day. Hopefully, I regain my voice a little bit. We got really one solid week, one and a half solid weeks of this. Are we gonna default? Are we not? Are we gonna get to catastrophe? Are we not? Hopefully we don't have catastrophe. Hopefully we come to agreement. But overall, we as a country need to stop overspending. Raising the debt ceiling is not going to fix things. It's just going to make things worse. When you got one side of it, when you have Powell trying to lower inflation, and then you have another side that's just printing money and causing inflation, the two doesn't go. They're on the opposite side of each other. All right, guys, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for that video tonight. Hopefully I can get it tonight. If I can, it'll be tomorrow. There's a lot of footage, so stay tuned for that, or I'll see you tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care. And go watch the XRP video, too, if you haven't yet. All right.